When civilization falls apart, humans gather together. Staying alive on your own can work, but it's hard. Living in groups increases your chances. More abilities, better protection, greater work power. That's why people always band together. Throughout every historical breakdown, humans form collectives because groups have better odds than lone individuals. However, not all groups make it equally. 5 distinct group types emerge in every collapse. Different frameworks, different beliefs, different approaches, and 4 of them fall apart completely while one makes it through. Knowing which groups appear, their reason for forming, and which one truly survives isn't just theory. It's about living or dying because you'll either create a group, become part one, or deal with groups. Your survival relies on identifying which group type you're facing and whether that group will last or is destined to fail. The group that makes it through isn't what most expect. It's not the best armed, not the most ready, not the most structured by conventional standards. The ones who live understand something about group behavior that the doomed ones miss. Something unexpected. Something that contradicts every preparedness instinct and every film about end-time survival. Here are the 5 groups that appear in every breakdown. Their appearance, their formation reasons, what destroys for them, and which one lives when all others have fallen. Group 1, the military-style unit, heavy firepower, heavy losses. This is what survival enthusiasts fantasize about. Ex-soldiers, former police, and tactical fans creating a paramilitary structure. Heavy weaponry, strict chain of command, military-grade operations. The group appearing most ready on the first day. Their appearance, command structure modeled on military ranks. Someone acts as leader. Others follow beneath. Chain of command is clear. Instructions flow downward. Reports flow upward. Highly organized on the surface. Massive weapons and tactical equipment. Rifles, protective vests, night vision, radio gear. They resemble a professional fighting force. Everyone carries similar weapons and gear. Defended location as headquarters. They create a fortified base. Protected positions, overlapping shooting ranges, reinforced buildings. Military thinking used for static protection. Bold patrol and guard operations. They conduct patrols, set up boundaries, dominate space around their base. They display strength to discourage threats. Practice sessions and exercises. They rehearse strategies, simulate situations, keep order through organization and schedules. They're readying for violence they believe will define survival. Formation reasons. Military-style units emerge because people with armed forces or police experience lean toward familiar methods. They're trained in rank systems. They feel comfortable with command chains. They return to military organization because that's their background. They also draw people who dream about tactical work. The wannabe soldiers who view collapse as their opportunity to act out military dreams. They sign up because they enjoy the equipment, the hierarchy, the feeling of being fighters. The military-style group provides instant visible safety. Heavy firepower and skilled members make the group appear secure. New members feel shielded by the weapons and structure. Failure reasons. Strict hierarchy collapses under pressure. Military ranking functions when backed by institutional support. In breakdown conditions, when the leader makes poor choices, followers can't intervene without breaking the system. Poor leadership destroys the group while everyone obeys commands. Supply usage is impossible to maintain. Military work burns ammunition, fuel, and materials quickly. Patrols waste fuel. Practice uses bullets. Equipment needs upkeep. The military-style group drains supplies faster than they can gather them. They run empty while heavily equipped. They generate opponents through displays of strength. Each patrol or territorial claim challenges others. They turn other groups into adversaries. They spark fights through visible power. Over time, they meet superior numbers or better armed opponents. The aggressive stance that appear like strength becomes why they're attacked. Inner fighting over methods and plans. The group draws powerful individuals who each believe they know the correct path. When events don't align with their preparation, they dispute the approach. Divisions appear. The group breaks apart over strategic arguments that turn into personal battles. The military approach applied to survival contexts doesn't work. Military actions have supply routes, backup forces, and clear goals. Collapse survival lasts indefinitely with no resupply and no obvious win conditions. Military reasoning doesn't translate to survival reality. They're waging battles they cannot win because survival isn't combat, lost through excessive confidence. They trust their preparation, and gear make them superior. They take chances based on that trust. They confront dangers they should dodge. Eventually, they lose members in gunfights that weren't needed. Each death weakens a group. After sufficient losses, they can't keep functioning. Failure timeline, 3 to 6 months. They exhaust ammunition in early months protecting space and conducting missions. They lose members to fighting. Inner disputes grow as supplies disappear. By 6 months, they've either broken into smaller pieces or been wiped out by accumulated opponents. Group 2, the Neighborhood Alliance democracy perishes in darkness. This is the local watch that expands. Neighbors who knew each other before breakdown joining forces to keep order and pool resources. They're attempting to preserve pre-breakdown community values. Working together, justice, democratic choices. Their appearance, open membership. Anyone from the area can participate. Meetings happen where everyone casts votes. Leadership rotates or gets elected. Very equal structure. Pooling supplies. Food, water, abilities are combined. They create shared gardens, water gathering, guard rotations. Everyone gives what they're able. Distribution targets fairness. Protective stance, not hostile. They set up a boundary around their area. They protect, but don't patrol outside their zone. They're not seeking fights. Trying to keep pre-breakdown standards. They have regulations. No theft among members. No violence inside the group. Arguments get mediated. They're attempting to preserve society through mutual agreement. Formation reasons. Neighborhood alliances appear because humans instinctively trust familiar faces. Neighbors unite because they have built relationships. They know each other's identities, their relatives, their backgrounds. Pre-existing community bonds form the base. They also emerge from wanting to keep things normal. People want to think their area can stay civilized, that working together and fairness will succeed. They're holding on to pre-breakdown principles because accepting those principles died is emotionally crushing. The neighborhood group feels morally correct. It feels positive to cooperate, to pool resources, to assist neighbors. This moral draw attracts people who want to remain good people even in breakdown. Failure reasons. Lazy members wreck the system. Some participants give less than they receive. They avoid guard duty. They consume more than their portion. They pretend illness to dodge labor. The cooperative model depends on fair contribution from all. When some don't contribute, bitterness grows. Eventually, the workers refuse to keep supporting the lazy ones. The system falls apart from inner unfairness. Voting-based choices are too sluggish. Crises need rapid decisions. When the group must decide whether to leave, whether to accept strangers, whether to apply force against dangers, they hold discussions. They argue. They vote. By decision time, the circumstances have shifted. Chances are lost. Dangers aren't handled fast enough. Democracy can't keep pace with rapidly changing emergency situations. Openness becomes a safety weakness. They accept anyone from the area. Some people shouldn't belong. Some are burdens. Sick, hurt, unwilling to help. Some are dangerous. Criminals, mentally unstable, violent. The open policy means they can't reject risky or useless members without betraying their own beliefs. The group weakens by including everyone. They draw attackers. A cooperative, peaceful group with shared supplies is a perfect victim. Gangs view the neighborhood alliance as a warehouse. They strike with massive force. The neighborhood attempts defense, but they're not ready or trained for violence. They're overwhelmed and their supplies get stolen. Inner disputes over justice are unsolvable. Someone believes food sharing is unjust. Someone else thinks another household isn't helping enough. These arguments consume endless hours in discussions. Factions develop around different fairness concepts. Eventually, the group fragments as people exit to create smaller groups with those sharing their beliefs. The mutual agreement breaks when supplies become truly limited. When there's plenty, sharing comes easily. When food is disappearing and people are dying of hunger, parents with kids look at childless singles and wonder, why should they eat when my children are starving? The fairness model collapses when the stakes turn life or death. People put their families above the group. The alliance dissolves. Failure timeline, 2 to 4 months. Lazy member issues surface instantly but need weeks to generate serious fighting. Supply depletion speeds up division by 2 to 3 months. Inner disputes consume more effort than outside survival problems. The group splits apart or gets hit by attackers who spot their weakness. Group 3. The blood relatives' family loyalty runs deep and narrow. This is extended relatives clustering together. Parents, siblings, cousins all merging to one spot. Blood connections as the base. Often a father figure or mother figure as the head. Fierce loyalty inside the family. Deep mistrust of strangers. Their appearance. Family hierarchy as operational hierarchy. The father or grandfather commands. Adult kids are second-tier leaders. Grandkids provide labor. Power comes from family standing, not skill. Closed off and doubtful. They don't trust strangers. They don't exchange or connect with other groups unless forced. They assume everyone outside the family is a danger. Supply stockpiling. Everything the family owns is for family alone. They don't give to others. They gather and guard what belongs to them. Protection on family land. They strengthen the family house or property. They protect what's theirs. They don't expand past their territory. Formation reasons. Family groups form because blood bonds represent the strongest trust. You trust relatives in ways you don't trust others. When the world breaks down, you go to family because that's the most dependable loyalty. They also appear because families have existing connections and patterns. No need to create hierarchy or develop trust. It already exists. They're making pre-existing ties operational. Geographic merging is natural. Family members occupy different homes but same region. When breakdown arrives, they gather at one place, typically the elder's house or whoever owns the most defendable land. Failure reasons, restricted genetic and ability variety. Everyone shares blood. The abilities present are whatever abilities family members possess by chance. Often there are missing pieces. Nobody understands medical treatment. Nobody can repair machines. The family can't handle all needed capabilities because they're restricted to family members' skill collections. Echo chamber of flawed thinking. Family group behavior means particular ideas or beliefs control. If the elder makes poor choices, nobody challenges effectively because of family respect or fear patterns. The group reinforces poor strategies because family loyalty blocks needed corrections, cannot expand or evolve. They can't bring in new people. They can't acquire abilities they lack. They're limited to who they have. If they lose someone, they can't find replacements. Gradual loss kills them slowly because they won't accept outsiders. Family arguments become survival arguments. Pre-existing family stress explodes under pressure. Old bitterness resurfaces. The brother who always felt dismissed. The sister who believed she should command instead of father. The cousin who never helped and still doesn't. These personal fights grow to breaking points. The family group collapses because they're battling each other instead of outside dangers. The elder leadership issue. Command based on family rank, not capability. When father or grandfather makes poor choices, the family framework doesn't permit effective challenge. Poor leadership combined with loyalty framework means a group follows poor choices until they collapse catastrophically. Distrust of strangers restricts chances. They could exchange for food they require. They could partner with another group for protection. They could bring in someone with essential abilities. They won't because they don't trust anyone outside family. This separation means they miss chances that could rescue them and confront dangers alone that they could have faced together with partners. Failure timeline, 4 to 8 months. Family groups last longer than military-style units or neighborhood alliances because loyalty is genuine and inner trust is strong. But ability gaps and inability to evolve eventually create problems they can't handle. They're stable inside but can't respond to outside changes. When situations demand something they're incapable of, they fail because they won't accept help. Group 4, the attack bands steal everything. Leave nothing behind. This is the predator group. They don't create, they steal. They target other groups, strike, grab supplies, and continue. Pure parasitic survival approach. Their appearance, moving and hostile. They're not protecting space. They're traveling through regions, striking targets, and grabbing what they desire. Heavily equipped, but not organized. They have weapons. They use them, but they're not soldiers. They're violent opportunists. Loose ranking based on toughness. Whoever's most violent and effective commands. Command shifts through fighting. It's unstable and harsh. No future planning. They consider the next attack, where they'll strike next, what they'll grab. They don't plan months forward, because they don't think months forward. Formation reasons. Attack bands emerge from criminal types and people who select violence as main approach. When law enforcement breaks down, people with criminal past or violent tendencies move toward groups where those characteristics are benefits. They also draw people who couldn't make other survival methods work. People who couldn't grow their own food, couldn't construct their own shelter, couldn't arrange their own protection. They join attackers because stealing from others is simpler than developing their own capability. The attack approach provides instant rewards. Strike a weaker group, grab their stuff. Quick supplies without the effort of creating or preparing. This draws short-term planners. Failure reasons. They drain supplies faster than victims can recover. Attackers hit productive groups and grab their materials. But they don't leave those groups working. They grab everything. This means each victim is eliminated and can't be attacked again. Eventually, they exhaust victims. All the productive groups in their territory have been destroyed or escaped. The attackers have nothing remaining to attack. They build a united opposition. Every group they've struck or threatened becomes their opponent. Eventually, the surviving groups unite against the attackers. An alliance of protective groups with shared opponent is stronger than the attackers. The protective partnership hunts the attackers methodically. The predators turn into prey. Inner violence destroys them internally. Attack groups stay together through success. When attacks work and supplies are plentiful, the group remains united. When attacks fail or supplies drop, they attack each other. Command gets challenged violently. The group splits into smaller bands or dissolves completely, lost with no replacement source. Every attack risks injuries. They lose members to defensive shooting. They lose members to wounds and disease. They can't bring in new people effectively because no stable groups want to join attackers. Their numbers drop. Eventually, there are too few to successfully attack defended victims. No lasting abilities or creation. They don't plant food. They don't clean water beyond looting. They don't construct or keep up systems. They're totally reliant on finding groups that perform those tasks and stealing from them. When those groups disappear, attackers have no capability to keep themselves alive. Failure timeline, 3 to 9 months. Early breakdown provides many victims. Attackers do well at first because there are many unprepared groups to victimize. By 3 to 6 months, simple victims are gone. Surviving groups have protection. Attackers exhaust their territory and begin failing. By 9 months, they're either dead, absorbed into other groups, or starved out. Group 5, the flexible connection, loose ties, strong survival. This is the group that lives. It doesn't appear like a group in the traditional meaning. It's a web of individuals and tiny clusters who keep flexible relationships. They work together when helpful. They stay independent when beneficial. They adjust to shifting situations without rigid framework. Their appearance, scattered framework with no central power. There's no boss of the web. There are respected individuals with knowledge or supplies, but nobody commands. People make their own choices and align voluntarily. Tiny units of 2 to 5 people maximum. The web isn't one big group. It's many small groups or individuals who keep contact and connections. Each unit is independent but linked. Expert roles without ranking. Someone handles medical issues. Someone fixes machines. Someone grows crops. Someone handles trading. These roles aren't ranked. They're valued for contribution. People respect knowledge in each area. Flexible working together. Units collaborate on particular tasks or problems. Then they go back to independence. The collaboration is task-focused, not permanent joining. Intelligence sharing web. The units talk regularly. They exchange knowledge about danger, chances, supplies, and situations in different locations. Intelligence moves freely. Formation reasons. Flexible connections form from people who grasp that rigid frameworks fail in chaos. They've observed the military-style units, neighborhood alliances, and family groups fail. They discover that flexibility beats structure in unpredictable settings. They also form from people who prize independence but acknowledge the need for working together. They don't want to be isolated, but they don't want to surrender freedom to a hierarchy. The web provides them both: connection without control. Small unit size happens naturally. 2 to 5 people is manageable without formal framework. Everyone knows everyone. Trust is personal. Choices are quick because few people are involved. Bigger groups need structure. Small groups don't. Survival reasons. Flexibility adjusts to shifting situations. When one method fails, they change. When a place turns dangerous, they relocate. When a supply becomes rare, they discover alternatives. The absence of rigid framework means they're not trapped in failing approaches. Scattered risk. If one unit fails, the web continues. If one person dies, the web persists. There's no single breakdown point, no leader to lose, no central headquarters that can be destroyed. The web is tough because it's scattered. Expert knowledge without reliance. Each unit has some capability, but units exchange abilities and supplies with other units. The medical person exchanges medical treatment for food from the farmer. The mechanic fixes the trader's vehicle in return for salvage pieces. Everyone gains from others' expertise without being totally reliant on any single person. Intelligence benefit. Because units are scattered across geographic territory and exchange knowledge, the web understands more than any single group. They spot dangers approaching. They recognize chances. They make superior choices because they have superior intelligence. Dodges all the breakdowns of other groups. No strict hierarchy to collapse. No voting to delay choices. No restricted membership that caps abilities. No hostile stance that builds opponents. No parasitic approach that exhausts victims. The web purposefully avoids the breakdown patterns of other group types. Low profile. The web doesn't appear like a group to outsiders. No fortress, no patrols, no clear framework. Attackers don't see the web as a victim. Other groups don't view the web as a danger. This invisibility gives safety, can expand or contract naturally. If someone compatible shows up, they can join the web. If someone becomes a problem, they can be removed. The web can shrink during tough times and grow during better times. This flexibility in membership is impossible for rigid groups. Survival timeline, unlimited. The flexible connection doesn't have a breakdown timeline because it doesn't have the structural weaknesses other groups have. It can continue as long as members live, years, decades. It's the only group framework that's maintainable indefinitely. The shared pattern, why 4 groups fail and 1 survives. The 4 failing groups share traits that destroy them. Rigid framework, military-style neighborhood, and family groups all have set frameworks that don't adjust well. Framework creates efficiency in stable settings. But breakdown isn't stable. Rigid frameworks collapse under unpredictable pressure. Central breakdown points. Each failing group has something that if eliminated kills the entire group. The military-style group's leader, the neighborhood alliance's pooled supplies, the family group's elder, the attack band's successful raids. When that central piece fails, the group fails. Inward attention with missing awareness. Military-style groups focus on safety and overlook supply sustainability. Neighborhood groups focus on justice and overlook safety dangers. Family groups focus on loyalty and overlook ability gaps. Attackers focus on raids and overlook long-term survival. Each group has missing awareness that eventually destroys them, cannot adjust to what breakdown truly demands. Each group is built for what they believe breakdown is: military actions, neighborhood cooperation, family protection, predatory raids. But actual breakdown demands flexibility, varied abilities, lasting creation, and long-term planning. Only the flexible connection is constructed for reality instead of assumption. The flexible connection survives because flexibility as foundation principle. Everything about the web is designed to adjust. Membership, framework, approach, place. When situations shift, the web shifts. This is a reverse of rigid groups that collapse when situations surpass their structural ability. Scattered toughness, no central breakdown points. The web is strong through distribution. You need to remove every unit to destroy it, and units can regenerate through bringing in people or reproduction across time. Reality-focused instead of belief-focused. The web isn't trying to maintain military order, democratic principles, family loyalty, or predatory success. It's trying to survive. Whatever functions, they perform. Whatever doesn't function, they abandon. This practicality defeats belief every time. Future planning built in because the web is maintainable. Members think long-term. They're not burning through supplies. They're not creating opponents unnecessarily. They're not exhausting their territory. They're developing capability that continues years into the future. The unexpected truth. Everyone assumes the military-style group survives. They're equipped. They're prepared. They're structured. They appear like winners. But appearing capable isn't the same as being capable. The military-style group's strengths, weapons, framework, hostile stance become their weaknesses. They burn supplies they can't replace. They build opponents they can't overcome. They follow commanders whose preparation doesn't match the circumstances. They die well-armed and structured. The flexible connection appears weak, loosely linked, no clear hierarchy, not heavily equipped, no impressive fortress. They don't appear like they'll make it. But appearing weak while being strong is the ultimate survival position. The web doesn't draw predators. They don't spark united opposition. They don't waste supplies maintaining framework. They don't collapse when situations shift. They survive quietly while impressive groups fall apart loudly. Which group are you in? Examine your own readiness or your neighborhood. What group pattern are you creating? If you're constructing a military-style fortress with ranked structure, you're heading for the 3 to 6 month breakdown window. Strict hierarchy and supply burning will destroy you unless you shift to something more adjustable. If you're arranging neighborhood cooperation based on justice and voting, you're heading for the 2 to 4 month breakdown window. Lazy members and sluggish choices will wreck you unless you build smaller, more responsible frameworks. If you're planning to survive with only relatives, you're stable for 4 to 8 months, but headed for eventual breakdown from ability gaps and separation. You need to connect with non-relatives or accept that you can adjust when situations require capabilities you lack. If you're considering predatory survival, you're choosing 3 to 9 months of early success followed by violent death when you've exhausted your territory and build a united opposition. If you're not in a group yet, construct the flexible connection. Small trusted relationships, expert knowledge and exchange, intelligence sharing, flexibility, independence with working together. That's the framework that lasts. How to build a flexible connection. Begin with 2 to 4 people you completely trust. This is your foundation unit. Abilities should be varied. Trust must be total. Recognize 3 to 5 other individuals or small groups in your region with different abilities or supplies. These become other units. You don't merge with them. You create relationships. Set up regular intelligence exchange. Gather periodically. Share what you're observing, what you're hearing, what dangers or chances exist. No formal framework, just intelligence movement. Work together on particular tasks that help everyone. Constructing protections, sharing crops, exchanging abilities. Task-focused cooperation that doesn't demand permanent joining. Maintain unit sizes small. When a unit expands past 5 or 6 people, it divides into 2 units that stay linked. Small groups are manageable without hierarchy. Keep independence while staying linked. You're not creating a fortress or structure. You're keeping relationships that give mutual benefit without losing freedom. The bottom line, 5 groups appear in every breakdown. The military-style unit, the neighborhood alliance, the family group, the attack band, the flexible connection. 4 of them fail within 3 to 9 months. Rigid frameworks collapse. Central points fail. Missing awareness destroys them. Inability to adjust wrecks them. One survives indefinitely. The flexible connection, flexible framework, scattered toughness, reality-focused practicality, future planning. The group everyone assumes will survive, the heavily equipped military-style unit, fails quickly. The group nobody assumes will survive, the loosely linked web, continues indefinitely. Framework destroys. Flexibility survives. Independence with cooperation defeats hierarchy. Small, trusted groups exchanging with each other defeats large, unified structures. This isn't theory. This is pattern from every historical breakdown. The impressive structured groups fail. The flexible, adjustable connections continue every time. Construct the web. Remain small. Stay flexible. Work together without merging. Develop expertise and exchange. Share intelligence. Dodge rigid framework. That's how you survive when every other group has fallen.